We're joining about halfway in for the recording, so I'm just going to say this real quick because people who are joining with the YouTube video, and basically what I did was I just dragged in a couple of loops here, and we're just kind of talking about that right now. So essentially, this one here is at 89 BPMs, this one's at 75. Ableton Live, as long as things are cut to the loop, what happens is it automatically locks it into your tempo for you, which is so dope. And this is where Ableton Live really shines above Pro Tools or Logic. I can take these in here, I can hit play, and I can adjust my tempo. And you can hear it slows that stuff down just immediately. You can speed it up. It's super cool. And I'm just like, what I'm doing is I just clicked on this so it's highlighted, and I'm just using my up and down arrow keys to change the tempo. And it just automatically just works. Super cool. And this is what's really great about Ableton Live, because I can take different loops and throw them in together and see what happens. So let's go in here. Let's grab a bass. I'm just gonna click here. Let's use this one here. Drag it in, hit play. Cool. All right. If I want to rename these tracks, like I can call this one Latin Loop. I can rename it, hit Command R on the track to rename it. I want to call this one hi-hat, closed hi-hat loop. And this one here, I'm going to call this one bass loop. I usually put a loop, if it's like an audio loop or something, I'll usually put the word loop in the title. I can also color the tracks. So I can just right click and select the color, and if I right click again down here where it says assign track colors to clips, it'll just assign all the track colors to all these clips. Okay, so we got that there. Hold on one second. We've got these here. Now, this is like, it's pretty cool because what I can do is, you see how these are going down like this. If I put, let's say I put this hi-hat line on here, you can only play one clip at a time in here. So if I have this, you can hear the hi-hat here. Let me just stop the bass part. I can hit the hi-hat here. And then over here, right there, see when I hit play, it's not going to play them both at the same time. If I want to play these both at the same time, I actually have to drag this over here to this other track, and now I can play them both at the same time. So basically what I'm telling you is that you can only play one clip at a time on a track. This is the same way that Pro Tools works, or Ableton Live works. I mean, Pro Tools or Logic or any of those work. Cool, Decree. I'll tell you how to get that set up in just a second here when you got the loops in there. So we can only put one thing at a time on a track, and then if you want to play multiple things at the same time, multiple loops at the same time, we've got these scenes over here, and you can have more scenes. I can hit Command I or Control I to make more scenes. I can highlight them and hit delete, whatever I want to do. But if I hit play on these, what's cool is it plays everything across. See how I click on it here and it highlights everything across? This is what we call a scene. So for example, if I want to have my song kind of start with just the Latin percussion, just stop everything here. Latin percussion here, and then I want to maybe have Latin percussion and the hi-hats play, and then I want to have everything play. I can hold down Option and drag these down to make a copy of it. So now when I hit play over here, when I play, it's going to play everything that's on this scene. and it plays everything at the downbeat. Now the reason why it's playing everything at the downbeat is because of what's going on over here with this one bar. This global quantize here is going to adjust when it's going to actually play stuff. So for example, if I change this to a quarter note here, if I hit play, and if I hit play on this other scene, I can actually make it start at different times by just hitting play, right? But that gets off, it gets weird. So what I would do is I'd set this to 1 bar here, and now when I hit play, it's not gonna play until it hits that 1 bar mark. Which is pretty cool. Now, this global quantize thing works for not just playing clips, but also recording clips. So let me just show you. I'm just gonna record in a drum beat with this. So I'm just gonna make a new track, Command-Shift-T for a MIDI track. Make my new MIDI track here. And I'm gonna drag in, I'm gonna put in here a drum. Here's my drums. Here's my drums, let's go. The auto beat stuff. Okay, so we got this basic beatbox kit. I'm gonna drag this in here and move that over here so I just have it in the right place, which you don't have to do, but whatever. So if I hit go and I hit record on this track, you gotta hit that record button or else it's not gonna record anything. I can record it in. Cool. And I can put this where I want it to go. So for example, if I want it to go right there and drag this down here. And so now when I hit play, my playing is pretty off, so I'm gonna go ahead and quantize this. There we go, much better. And I can take all of these, hold down Option, drag them down, and I can lay out like a little bit of a song here, and I can whatever you want to do in here. And I can also play individual tracks like this. Go ahead and stop this one here. Now, if I wanted to record a different idea into here, I can just hit the record button and it will stop playing what's playing and just go ahead and record my new idea. So if I go in here and I can there we go. And I can play my old beat as well. Cool. There we go. So I have that little, and I can just keep this going in real time as I'm going and just kind of get ideas and just flow with it. This is one of the coolest things about Ableton Live is I can drag this in, I can play in an instrument. So for example, I go in here, I can grab, let's grab this organ sound here. Recorder on the track. It's in the key of A. record just a little bit. Whatever. And so I can get ideas together like this, and you can just kind of keep it going. Do all sorts of stuff with this. Make it longer. And I can adjust these things as it's playing. Which is pretty cool. So I think, like, basically all you do to get this stuff going is just drag it in and hit play on it and decide if you like it or not. That's as easy as it is. And the MIDI stuff, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more detail about this another time, not right now. But if I just get rid of this MIDI stuff in here, I've got all this in here. Let's get another drum beat in here. I'll go back to my hip hop samples down here, and I'll show you how to pull these in here in just a second. The drums. Cool. I can just take this, drag it in, and just drag it over to the gray part here. Right. Kind of move this over. Cool. Alright. And this is just like working with loops, and I can go in here, let's grab, let's see what this music stuff does. There we go. Cool. Whatever, right? And you can just like play these things and get ideas together. That's like, it's fun, it's just like having fun. Like making beats with Ableton Live for me is like playing a video game. You're just having fun with sounds and just kind of putting things in, and just like, it's a cool way to work. It's much different from Pro Tools or Logic, the workflow with this view here. Once you've got some stuff set up, here, let's put this down here. Once I've got some things set up, let me go ahead and change the color on this one here. We'll call this one Kit Loop. Drag this over here so it's like laid out. I try to keep things organized as I go. Now what I can do is I can actually record this in to my arrangement view, and I can kind of play in real time. So what I can do is I hit the record button, and once I hit go on one of these tracks, it's going to start playing it into my arrangement view. So go over here. I want to see my overview here. And now I can use my arrow keys and hit the return key on here. And everything I'm doing is being recorded into the arrangement view as a song. Cool, and leave lots of space for you to hip hop on top of, vocalize, whatever you do. Okay, now I can go and hit the tab key, and over here it's all been recorded into this view here. It's not recording it as audio files, it's recording the clips into this view. So I can still go back and edit stuff. It hasn't taken up a lot of space on my hard drive, anything like that. So what I do is I hit this little orange button over here, and it makes everything solid so we can listen to it. And now I can go in here and say, okay, cool. I can edit some stuff out, so I can say, like, you know, edit down like this a little bit. Oops. I really hate that guitar part. I hate that guitar part. But you get the idea. I can go through and I can edit stuff out. I can say, okay, cool. Like, I don't like the guitar part. Yeah, I mean, it's so quick to get stuff going with Ableton Live, especially like if you're into hip hop, and like especially if you're like into old school hip hop, like if you're trying to emulate stuff from like the early '90s, De La Soul, Diggable Planet, stuff like that. It's yeah, there you go, right, Rakim? It's like that kind of sound, easy. Like this is like super super easy for that. Just kind of, and it's just about having fun and just getting loops and stuff together. The real like. You know, obviously, exactly, it's who drives the ship. And it takes, like, I've been doing this for like 20 years, since, yeah, literally 20 years. So I make this look really easy. It's not hard, but it does take practice to get smooth and really get knowing what you're doing. You can see, like, if you watch me work, you can see I really know my key commands and I know where things are on the screen. I'm not even the fastest person. Like, I know with this stuff though, like I've got friends who are just so, the way they make music and the way they do this stuff is just ridiculous. It's insane because they've just got their kind of, their thing down, and they just do, like, they doing the same thing all the time. So that's basically it. That's what that's what your basic goal is working with today, is getting some drums, getting some loops. If you're in my class, you've got this hip hop samples pack. Now what you need to do is when you download it, I would recommend putting the hip hop samples into a folder on your hard drive. I've got a folder on my hard drive here called samples. So if I go to my sound, I've got one in here, it says samples right there. And in here, actually, I don't remember where my hip hop library is. But in here, so we got this stuff here. So I did a lot of samples, like in Cartagena, there was a lot of like horses walking around, right? So if I want to use those samples, I can go over here to say add folder, and it's gonna have me navigate to wherever things are. So let's go over here to sound, and we're gonna talk about those horse samples later on when we're talking about samples and stuff more. But I go down here to samples, Cartagena, just double click it, and now I go in here and I hit open, and it's gonna put that folder down here at the bottom, and it's got all my samples in there. So that's what you would do, Decree, is you go to where you put your hip hop samples. You need to unzip it. You need to unzip all the folders inside of it as well. They're all zipped up, like everything was zipped and zipped and zipped. So you need to unzip everything. But once you do that, just navigate to where that folder is on your hard drive with this little add folder button down here, and it will put it here on the left hand side. Give it a second because it has to read all the samples. It'll take a second to do that, and then you should have access to all your sample files. So that's how that works there. If you have your own samples and you want to use your own samples for this assignment, that's great. I'm down, totally down with that. If you want to use the samples that I gave you from the hip hop stuff, or if you want to go find other ones online, that's fine too. And then essentially this is really what it is. It's just practicing using samples and stuff. And we're going to talk about how to grab samples from music and audio and like movies and stuff like that. But for just getting started today, really what I want you to do is just drag some samples in and play with it and have fun and just make some beats, and that's it. That's really the important part. It's just like having fun while you're learning, So cool. I'm going to stop this recording right here.